Hello everybody. We have a wonderful interview for you today with the fabulous Katrina Moss. And she is here talking with us today because Katrina is the founder of the Chaiya Art Awards, which is the UK's biggest art awards illuminating spirituality with a top prize of £10,000. And next week is the Winners Exhibition, which is taking place at the Oxo Gallery and the Bargehouse Gallery on London's Southbank. And that's from the 7th to the 16th of April, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we just thought it'd be really great to have Katrina join us because it's an amazing art award. It's an amazing journey. And I connected with Katrina a few years ago now and was inspired by her and what she's doing even back then. And the Christian Creative Network has been a huge champion of what she's done. And every time the awards come around, we love to share the open call for submissions. And I know lots of people within the Christian Creative Network branches have submitted entries. Some have won, some, like my husband, haven't been shortlisted. But it's wonderful, Katrina, to have you here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Josie.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to coming to the exhibition in London next week and seeing it in person. But I just thought it would be great to interview you and for our kind of network to kind of hear about the awards, hear how it started, the journey, and just really to be inspired because it's such an amazing thing that you're doing. So I guess firstly, what is Chaiya Art Awards and how did it start?
Well, it had quite an unusual beginning. I got the idea for this the morning my mother died. So I just woke up with it and I get a lot of ideas. I'm quite an ideas person. So I then
I think all creative people are, aren't we?
Yeah. And you're then trying to sort out, is it a Katrina good idea or is it maybe a God idea? And so I spent quite a lot of time talking to people that knew me really well, and I spoke to artists and curators just to find out, was there anything already like this around? Because there's no point reinventing the wheel if someone's already doing it.
Yeah.
And I realized that there wasn't. And so I've always been passionate about artists and creativity. And I just wanted to create a platform where artists of faith, artists that shared my faith, had a high profile place where they could exhibit their work, but also to create one of those third space arenas where people of other faiths, people who had no faith at all or on a journey or could be totally anti, could all put their creative response into a theme. And actually it allows God the space to move in whatever way he chooses. So we want to make it as broad and inclusive as possible. So that became the Chaiya Art Awards, and we decided to make it a competition where we were giving away prize money. Originally, I wanted to give away 25,000, and thank goodness someone talked me out of it because it's hard enough raising the money for the 10,000 and the other prizes. So I did hear reason. Yeah. And that's what became the Chaiya Art Awards, and we started the first one in 2018.
That's amazing. And you were saying you wanted it to have this prestigious kind of persona around it, and I think exhibiting in London in these amazing galleries, the Oxo Gallery, and the prize money, I think it gives it that level of prestige and platform to speak. But you mentioned you wanted it to be inclusive, and because I mean I know you're a Christian yourself, but you don't have to be a Christian to enter, do you?
No,
although lots of Christians do.
Lots of Christians do. And it was interesting, last year we had a young man who exhibited a piece that was quite anti the theme, and he just didn't think his work would be selected because of his view. But what we want is to, if a piece of work has something to say, we want lots of different access points for people that come to visit the exhibition, so that people that don't have faith feel, oh, there's something that actually I can identify with. And what we normally do is we change the curator and the judging panel each 2 years, because it's a 2-year competition, biennial. And the judges come from all different disciplines, with faith and without faith. And everything is judged blind. So nobody knows, apart from me, nobody knows who the artist is, whether they're selling their work, whether it's £150 or £50,000. Because if you know the amount, it does change how you view it.
Yeah.
So it's really fair. And the first time we had about 400 artists enter, and this time we had nearly 800 enter.
Wow.
And then we narrow it down. We narrowed it down to 200, and then we narrowed it down again to the winners exhibition to 120.
And do the winners get announced at the winners exhibition then?
They do. So we have a top prize of 10,000, which you've already mentioned. Then we have 8 other cash prizes, like Judges' Choices Awards. And then we have a public vote. So as the public are going around the gallery, they can vote for their favourite piece on an app. And then the winning artist gets £1,000.
That's amazing. And this year you're in 2 galleries, aren't you? So
yes, it's a huge
expanded.
Yeah.
What made you want to expand?
Well, we have so many fantastic entries that often just don't make it into the final exhibition because of space limitations. And in the Oxo Gallery, we could normally display between about 40 to 60 works. And we had some submissions the very first year that would have taken up the whole room, installations, because we take installations as well. And so we decided, by taking the Bargehouse, which has an extra 5 floors, we could have so much more and much bigger pieces as well. And so we've got 2 pieces that take up a whole room. We've got pieces that you can walk through. So because I like all sorts of...
It's a really immersive exhibition to go and see.
Yeah, so it's paintings, it's sculptures, it's video, it's installations, and each of the 14 rooms is themed, and it takes you on a journey up to the top floor, and that room is called Through the Wardrobe.
Oh my word, I'm really, really excited to come and see this in person. And I was going to ask, what impact have you seen as a result of the Chaiya Art Awards? What, over the years of doing this, sometimes it's hard to quantify, but what would you say you've seen as an impact through these awards?
Well, I think there's been a few things. I think it's really encouraged the artists, because often a lot of the artists we reach, because we invite about 6,000 artists every time, plus through networks like yourselves, we get to about another, 200,000. So it's just getting that theme of spirituality and getting creatives thinking about that, which I think is enormous, and you can never really work out what the final implications of that are. But it gives artists that get in the exhibition and get in the accompanying book a real confidence. We had a couple of the artists who won were then able to hire their own studios. One of them got invited onto a trip to China. We've had a lot of press for the winning artists. And I just think, that confidence that an artist gets is immeasurable to the freedom that releases.
Yeah,
and I mean, we had a piece that won the first year called 1,000 Bottles of Tears. And I remember going up to a woman who was standing by it, and it was 1,000 little pots, and each one was made from a piece of clay the size of a human heart. And then when they were fired with prayers. So the ash became part of the patination on the pot. So it was a really moving piece, but not everybody knew that. They would just look at it without realizing, not having read the card. And I went up to one woman and she said, I just can't seem to move from this spot, so that something is going on inside someone's heart or their spirit. And I think, art is a bit like music. It bypasses our logical brain and it just impacts us on an emotional level. And that's what we're wanting. We're wanting people to have encounters as they look at the art, as they go through the gallery. We try and make it a really warm, welcoming space. You know, like some galleries you go to, it's all, you know, it's a bit cold and clinical. We're totally the opposite. We talk to everybody,
Yeah.
just make them feel welcome.
I think that's wonderful. I think you said that, you know, that the art can bypass the brain and it can speak to people in so many different ways. So I think it's a massive confidence boost, as you say, for the artist, but the wider conversations it starts around spirituality and around the themes. I know this year the theme is awe and wonder. It's beautiful because it's broad enough to kind of encompass many different concepts and ideas, and yet it allows you to have that awe and wonder of God, of the spirituality that we all inhabit. I think that's fabulous. I was going to ask, what do you see for the future of the Art Awards? You mentioned it's biannual. I imagine you probably take a year to recover each time because it's a huge undertaking. But where you've obviously expanded into another gallery this year, do you see the same again in 2 years' time, or what are your thoughts for the future?
To be honest, I don't really know, Josie, because it's started to get bigger and bigger each time, and we're a small arts charity, and it's just got to the point now where we're thinking we really need people to come alongside us, either as sort of patrons or an organization who wants to partner with us, because it's just getting too big for us to manage as we are. So we've got a big meeting in September, just to decide what the future is for the awards. I've had an inquiry from someone in Australia who wanted to get some advice to set up something similar there. So to be honest, I don't know where God's taking it, but I'm just along for the adventure wherever that might be. It's been quite stressful this time because it's been so much bigger.
Yeah.
And with that comes a lot of
Extra challenges.
A lot of extra challenges.
We were speaking just before the interview. I think I'd heard the phrase that, you know, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. And I'm reminded of the verse, you know, that without faith it's impossible to please God. And I think if you have a dream and you can do it, you almost don't need that element of faith. You don't need, or you don't allow God's help. But what inspires me about the Art Awards is it's a journey of faith. And I believe that God honors that. And I think there's a blessing that comes from that through to everybody, from the visitors who come to the galleries that host, to yourself that leads, and the artists themselves. So yeah, I hope it keeps getting bigger and better. And who knows, you know, someone may be watching this who thinks actually this is what God's called me to partner with you in that. So was there anything else you wanted to add about the exhibition, the winners exhibition that's opening next week, or anything else?
Well, just to come along, you know, it's 10 days. It's a really exciting exhibition, very varied. I think people often are surprised by what's in the exhibition, and the thousands of visitors that come. People are really taken aback by how many people we have visit, and just the atmosphere. I mean, we had a visitors book last year because I forgot the first year, and it was just pages and pages of people being really impacted by the quality of the art, by the emotional impact that it was having on them, which they weren't expecting. And you know, it's a big thing to organize. You know, we have 160 volunteer slots hosting during the exhibition, and you know, I think people will really be inspired to see how God can communicate through so many different ways. And you know, it might inspire people to enter. Oops. To inspire. That's the problem with working from home, isn't it? Might inspire people to enter next time, or if they want to help. I mean, we're still looking to finish our financing, so you know, that's a journey of faith for me. But no, I would just encourage people to come along.
Fabulous. And do they need to book in? Do they just rock up?
Just turn up 11 till 6 every day, and it's free.
It's free. Wonderful. So that's at the Oxo Gallery and the Bargehouse Gallery on London Southbank, the 7th to the 16th of April, 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. And if you want to find out more about the Chaiya Art Awards, it's the website, it's spelled Chaiya artawards.co.uk, and you can follow the journey and find out more about the award. Thank you, Katrina. Honestly,
Well, thank you, Josie.
we are big champions of what you do. I think it's amazing, and really, really pray all the best for the exhibition opening next week. As I say, I'm very much looking forward to coming.
I look forward to seeing you, Josie.
So thank you very much.
Bye-bye.